Hello, this is the story of my accidental journey into the blogger world, which subsequently led to me signing a contract with one of Denmark's biggest blog companies. It's my first ever story time, and I've written down all the things I need to say, so I won't just fumble around and desperately try to reach the 10-minute mark or something. I'm trying to be to the point. And I hope it goes well. If it doesn't, it's not my fault because I'm new to this. The story started half a year ago. And an important thing to know is that at the time, my boyfriend and I had this thing where we would write to famous people and strangers. For example, if we saw an interview, we would tweet the famous people weird questions like, just where did you get your shirt? It wasn't really anything mean or anything that weird. We would just be like, showing each other the tweets. This then progressed to us writing to companies. For example, if we saw an advertisement for wood chips, we would write to the company asking questions about the quality of the wood chips. Stuff like that. Just asking weird questions on emails, Facebook, Twitter. So that's why when I saw an ad for something called Lookalab, I just ironically signed up. My boyfriend was at the toilet and I saw this ad, and I don't even remember what it said, but it was something vague like, we want to build up a blogger universe, and if you're between the age of 16 and 20 and you're active on social media, you should send us an application and links to your social media. So I sent in an application, and when my boyfriend got back, I showed him the ad and I was like, ironically saying something like, oh, I'm that age, I'm 20, I can be part of this. And he was like, yeah, you should sign up. So I showed him. Literally what I did was I wrote as the header, I have all the social medias, and then as the text, including LinkedIn. That was my application. Then I linked my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, and I think that was it. And I'm really not a blogger. I'm not fashionable. My social media accounts are mostly about my poetry and about me doing readings. And of course, I'm a little aesthetic, but not in the right way, I would think. But apparently not. So, we forgot all about it. I didn't really look more into what this whole thing was. I just forgot. And I'd like to mention, because I suspect that maybe blogging is something different in other countries. But in Denmark, if you don't know anything about blogging, which I did not, you have this kind of idea. There's this company called Bloggers Delight, and once in a while some 16-year-old will decide she wants to become a blogger. So she'll sign up for Bloggers Delight with a free account, and then she'll spam Facebook like, look at this new dress, look at this blog post, look at my blog, blah blah blah. So in my mind, it's just 16-year-old girls who show off new clothing, and then famous people once in a while, reality stars mostly. So it's not really something I felt like I could associate with, and maybe it's quite condescending. I was quite condescending about it because I didn't really know anything, and especially this particular ad seemed to be interested in young people who were very interested in social media, and that's often a specific type of person, and yeah, not really typically the kind of person whom I am. So yeah, I forgot all about it, and my time frame might be a little off, but I think about half a year went by. Maybe it was just 3 months. It was enough for me to totally forget it. And I received an email. So the email said, thank you for the application, and we'd like to invite you to a meeting in either Copenhagen or Aarhus. I live in between Copenhagen and Aarhus. They're like different sides of Denmark. So I figured I'm not gonna go to this meeting, and honestly I just thought that they had accepted 100 people, and they didn't really say anything about what this was. They just said, we'd like to talk to you about what this cooperation can mean for you. So I figured that they maybe accepted 100 girls, random girls, and just we're going to send them a shampoo once in a while, then make them write up a commercial for it or something. I didn't really think it was anything, because I figured if I was accepted, the bar could not be very high. So honestly, I just just ignored it. I didn't think more about it. I just figured, okay, this is a scam or something. Must be. My application was so douchey. I figured that if they wanted me, they either didn't read it thoroughly or they wanted douchebags. I don't know what I thought. So a week later, I received another email from Christina. She said, hey, I just wanted to make sure that you saw the email, and we want to meet you. And I figured, oh, okay, I have to think up some excuse. So I write to her that I'm a poor student and I haven't really got the funds to visit either Copenhagen nor Aarhus. And I think like that's a great excuse. She would probably write something about, oh, can't you just, it's half full for students, can't you come? And I'll be like, no, sorry, I'm really bad at funds, or I have bad debt or something. But then she writes that, oh, I'm talking to my colleague Lasse and he'll come to Odense. So now I've already said I'm interested in hearing more. I never said I'm interested in doing anything. I was very particular about just writing I'm interested in hearing more. But still, I've said I'm interested. And they're coming to my town where I live. So I have to go, I guess. And in this correspondence, another fact just pops up. Look Lab is owned by Bloggers Delight. And again, I had so many prejudices about Bloggers Delight. Really not based on anything other than having seen like 2 blogs. So it was quite mean of me to have these ideas. But nonetheless, I was just so certain that everyone there at the meeting there would be like 20 young girls, and we would be sitting there and they'd be talking about stuff I didn't know anything about. Like, I'd sit there with my thrifted clothing and they'd sit there with really expensive clothing and kind of look down upon me, and they'd be 16 and I'd be 20, and really just I'd be the odd one out. I was so certain and I was so scared, and honestly I felt really bad because I had been quite a douchebag in this scenario. I had ironically signed up, and then I didn't really even have the guts to say, hey, no, sorry, I'm not really a blogger, I can't do this. And I was sure that they had thought I had a blog and maybe misunderstood something. But then I received an email from Lasse, and I could see that he'd written the email to 2 other guys. And I looked at the guys on the Facebook, because of course, again, I was thinking, oh no, oh no. And I see these guys are 19 and 21. And I started to think, okay, I'll try this. One of them was a dancer, and the other was, I think, quite fashion interested. So, I wouldn't fit in perfectly, but I'm starting to kind of think, okay, maybe this isn't just the way I thought. Maybe very few people were actually accepted. Nonetheless, I'm still really, really scared, but I'm starting to think, okay, I'll give it a try, I guess. So we decide to meet up for coffee, all of us, at a local cafe. When I get there, Lasse luckily mentions, you don't have a blog, right? So if you decide to be a part of this, we'll set up a blog. So, okay, he knows I don't have a blog. This is not a mistake. He's looked at my social media, he's looked at my application, and he still thinks that I can do this. So, maybe? At the meeting, he shows us the website, he talks about the ideas, he tells us that the Bloggers Delight community has an umbrella of universes. And this one is aimed at young people. Then I get scared again, of course. But the thing is, it's apparently just that it's going to be young writers, but we can write anything. And he mentions stuff like, you can write about a museum you went to, you can write about anything, you can write about your life, you can write about creative stuff, poetry. He even mentioned poetry. So I figured, okay, so this is really open. And I'm starting to kind of get this feeling that I could maybe do this. And I never really thought about blogging because it's a lot of work to establish a blog, and you have to be very PR-ish. You have to write, look at my post, look at this, look at that. But the thing is, with this, I'll be a part of the universe from the beginning. So he just convinces me that this is a great idea. I get home, I read the contract, everything is cool and dandy, and it's so open. And this is why, if I want to get out, I have to give them 3 months notice. But there's no other really things about it. I can write PR stuff, I can write a post about a bank and get money for that, but I don't have to. I always have the chance to say yes and no, and there's no like, you have to write at least this and that, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, I could literally just be inactive for a month, write on my blog, I'm on vacation for a month, and then not do anything for a month. So I signed the contract, and now I'm a professional blogger. Which is so weird. And that's honestly where the story stops, because this happened this week. So I'm going to set up a blog. I'm quite brave, but this scares me. So I'm a blogger, and if you're interested in hearing more about this, I will make an update. If no one cares, I won't. We'll see. But if I do so, then this is probably the part where there'll be a part 2. That being said, it's probably going to be several months because there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of starting up thing to do. Thanks for listening. Bye.